Hey, you guys, welcome back to Balk Talk. Today we're talking about the Cy Young race. In the NL, it's Alcántara to lose. He's a heavy favorite to come out on top of Burns, Musgrove, Fried, Gonsolin, and Wheeler. It's easy to see why, too. I mean, his ERA is 176. His whip is below 1. The strikeout numbers are crazy. Everything you want to see is here. I mean, as long as that ERA stays below 2, it's hard to imagine him not winning this award. The win-loss might leave a little bit to be desired. 9-4, you could see a bit more. But he does play for the Marlins, and the run support sometimes hasn't been there for him. But the craziest thing about Alcantara's season is the innings pitched. He is out there throwing the ball complete games, going 8, 7 deep consistently, and he's just not tiring. He's not getting injured. It's absolutely crazy. If you look at like Tony Gonsolin, for example, who was a real competitor in the NL Cy Young before he had a bit of a bad game against St. Louis, giving up 5 earned in 5 innings. He has 93 innings pitched to Alcantara's 138. Like Alcantara's pitched more than 40 more innings than Gonsolin. And just that discrepancy is absolutely insane. Like it's so much baseball. So the volume is insane. Something that we don't see a lot today in this era of load management. Just how much he's able to throw that baseball and how many innings he's able to eat up with just an insane efficiency. Like it's absolutely insane that he's been able to give 138 innings of 176 ERA baseball. It's absolutely nuts. And another thing that's kind of nuts is the teams he's doing it against. I mean, like San Fran, good offense. Philly, good offense. St. Louis, good offense. Nationals, not so much. Seattle, good offense. Padres, Arizona, not so much. Washington, Braves twice, good offense, really good offense. You see San Fran again, Nats again. Phillies, Mets, really good offense. St. Louis again. Angels, not so much. Mets again, and then the Phillies. So like these are all like really good offenses that he's putting up these insane numbers against, and he's sporting a 176 against. Like so, like we see the Braves here, like number 4 in OPS. Then we got the Phillies, Giants, Cardinals, Mets, Mariners. Like these are all really good teams that he's putting up these insane numbers against. It's really, really, really impressive. Um, but he does get a bit of an easier matchup when we see him next. He's going to be taking the bump the 24th Sunday against Mitch Keller in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, they're towards the bottom of this. They're 28th in OPS this season. And Mitch Keller is, above a 4.5 ERA. So maybe Alcantara has a chance to pick up a win here, get that win total to double digits. And, hopefully he lowers that ERA even more, if it's even possible, against Pittsburgh lineup. Yeah, hopefully he comes out of the All-Star break really sharp. But in case Alcantara doesn't come out of the break throwing his best stuff, there's a lot of guys here who are willing to jump on that and try and take the award from him. Corbin Burns is next up, and Corbin Burns is I think there are two guys with a realistic shot right now. Things can change obviously, but I feel like there are two guys besides Alcantara that have a legitimate shot at this award, and Corbin Burns is one of them. And the main reason is the strikeout numbers. I mean, like even though Corbin Burns has thrown 25 fewer innings than Alcantara, his strikeout numbers are he's got 21 more strikeouts. And just no one on this list really compares to Corbin Burns' strikeouts. Musgrove has 102, Fried has 109, Gonsolin has 86, and Wheeler has 108 compared to Burns' 144. So like Burns is punching out guys like crazy. Um, ERA 2.14. It's really solid. Again, like if Alcantara's if the leading number is a 1, like I think that's a tough hill to climb for Burns. But his whip, Burns' whip is better than Alcantara's. 897 on Burns and 904 on Alcantara. Um, Guys like Joe Musgrove, he has that whip below 1. He's got an 8-2. He's a good player. I just think, and there's definitely a chance for him, but right now I don't see much that jumps out to me on the stat page for why he'd have a case over Alcantara. Um, I think the same thing with Fried, especially with that whip being over 1. It's just like don't get me wrong, these are crazy numbers, but Alcántara is just like insane. But I think Gonsolin is the other guy here who has a legit shot to beat Alcántara. So before that start against the Cardinals, that ERA was below 2. It's got a good chance to go back if he comes out throwing some really good stuff out of the break. It could go down below 2 again, and then he's right back in the conversation. So I mean, if he's your 1, 2, 3, 4, if he's your 5th option, I think that'd be a value pick. I'm not giving gambling advice, but you know, the whip is the main thing here. He's got the best whip of anyone on the board. He's got an 8.43, better than Alcántara's, better than Burns. Those 3 are 1, 2, 3 in whip. The strikeout numbers are not there compared to the other guys on this list, but the win-loss is. I mean, he's 11-0 with in 17 starts. I mean, the guy, if he has an undefeated season, if he has a X and O season, 15-0 season, like 18-0, like whatever it is, like that's going to be a big thing. Especially if that ERA ever dips below 1 and that whip stays remotely where it is now. There's going to be an argument for Gonsolin. So I feel like Gonsolin right now has the whip and the win-loss, and if that loss column stays a 0, that ERA dips below 2, and that whip stays close, that's a really solid case. Burns, I mean, look how many guys he's punching out, and with really good efficiency too. It's crazy. So I think those are the 2 guys who could dethrone Alcántara. I mean, Wheeler, Fried, Musgrove, they're all having really good seasons, but I think those 3 guys are more reliant on, okay, we need the other guys to like kind of implode and have some really crappy starts. I think Gonsolin and Burns, even on the pace they're on right now, if they take it up a little bit, I think they could have a legit argument to be ahead of Alcántara on the ballot. All right, so now moving over to the AL, we start with Shane McClanahan, who's the odds-on favorite to win the AL Cy Young, and we can see why. So he's already got double-digit wins at 10-3. His ERA is the best in the majors, with a 1.71. He's got 147 strikeouts, which ties him for second in the majors. His whip is also the best in the majors. Like, he is just like really, really throwing the ball insanely well. Verlander too. Wait. So let's talk about strength of schedule from McClanahan too, because as long as the AL East is as much of a superpower as it is, especially with the Orioles coming into form now and they're a really solid baseball team, this guy has to throw against the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Blue Jays, the Orioles, and these numbers are still like this good. I feel like it was a similar argument for Robbie Ray last season. Like, hey, he pitches in the AL East. So I think that's something that's working for McClanahan. Another pitcher on a really good team is Justin Verlander. So the main argument for Verlander is this: he's the only pitcher with 12 wins. So if you're, you want to vote for Corey Abbott for Cy Young? If your wins leader, your pitcher win champion, is your Cy Young leader, then let me introduce you to Justin Verlander, who is a 39-year-old who is second in Cy Young voting with a 1.89 ERA and 12 pitcher wins. It's absolutely crazy what he's able to do at this age. It's so insane. The strikeout numbers aren't quite there compared to McClanahan, like 147 to 108. He's got a lot of ground to make up there. The whip on Verlander is excellent, not as insane as McClanahan's. Verlander's got a really good shot. The Astros are a really, really good baseball team. So that's always something that can become a factor. But yeah, so let's move on to Ohtani. So Shohei is having a really, really, really good season on the mound. 2.38 ERA, 123 strikeouts, a whip below 1. So, really, really solid season. I think it is insane what Ohtani's able to do. But I feel like right now he doesn't have a ton that stands out when compared to McClanahan and Verlander. Like if these two guys implode, Shohei's got a real shot, and if these guys go cold, and Ohtani gets hot, he's got a chance to get in there. But I think he's reliant on other people imploding right now. But let's not understate how insane it is for a guy who hits the baseball as well as anyone in the game to also pitch as well as anyone in the game. It is so crazy, so crazy. What he's able to do with the baseball, and he looks like he leads the majors in wild pitches. But so now Dylan Cease. So Cease, the big thing here is Cease is your strikeout king. He's got the most strikeouts of anyone in the majors. He's got a 2.15 ERA, which is insanely good. 9-4. He can get to double-digit wins with another victory. The WHIP is a little high compared to guys like Shohei, Verlander, and McClanahan. But it's still like a cheat. I feel like there's a chance for Cease to get this below a 2, and if he gets this below a 2 and he's leading in strikeouts, and like there are a lot of factors that can come in and make Cease a legitimate shot, especially if he keeps up these insane K rates. Then we got Garrett Cole. How Justin Verlander being on the Astros is working to his benefit. Like, he's on one of the best teams in baseball. Well, the Yankees are right there. The Yankees are, along with the Astros, one of the best teams in baseball. The strikeout numbers are totally there for Garrett Cole. He's tied with McClanahan for second in baseball. The WHIP is below 1. He can get to double-digit wins with one more game. But the ERA being above a 3 is the main thing that could hold a lot of voters back right now. I think he's definitely got a chance to lower and get it down to 2, and if he really heats up down the stretch, which he is totally capable of doing, he can make a real run at it. And then the last guy on the list is Gausman. I don't really think Gausman's going to win this award. I mean, he's 6-7, with 287, 106 strikeouts, and a 1287 WHIP. I mean, he's having a really good season. But I think I think the season that the Blue Jays are having is kind of working against them. I mean, they're not a bad team in any sense of the word, but they're not where people thought they would be. So I don't think Gausman has a real solid shot at this award, but I think if he finishes 6th in voting, that would be good for him. I think he'd be really happy with that. And he's having a really good season. But so McClanahan is definitely the front runner. He's kind of got this award by the throat right now. He's the leader. He's the major league leader in WHIP, tied for second in strikeouts, ERA leader. Crazy Verlander's got the wins and the team. Cole's got the team and pretty close to the strikeouts. But so yeah, this is going to be a really good race. It's heating up a lot.